Good afternoon, Mets fans, and happy Monday. Welcome to a new week of Driving with Mr. Met. I am Mr. Met, and coming off of the weekend series in Philadelphia, you kind of always feel good, at least these days, leaving Citizens Bank Park. Actually, you feel good and bad because playing in Philly of late for the Mets has been terrific. They have looked really, really good playing the Phillies, but then again, so do most teams. But taking 3 out of 4 in Philly is what really every team expects to do. But as I noted last week, you know, the Phillies really make the Mets look like a major league team, which these days is kind of a rarity because the Mets really do not look like a major league team these days. But the Phillies certainly help that cause. So yeah, 3 out of 4 in Philly, not bad. But back to reality starting tonight because the Mets head into the Bronx for the first of 4 games in an away/home series with the New York Yankees. Before we talk too much about the Subway series coming up, I think it's important to talk about the fact that Michael Conforto has just proven that the MLB made the right decision having him be the all-star representation, or representative rather, for the Mets this year. Conforto has absolutely played like an all-star. His second half numbers have been really, really, really good, particularly his power numbers. He's really picked it up in the power department. He's now got 26 home runs on the season, making a 30 home run campaign a question of when, not if. Although, with that being said, look at what happened with young Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge looked like he was on pace for 60 home runs, and he's had a terrible second half. And I want to talk about that a little bit. You know, the fact that Judge has had a mediocre at best second half, a bad second half by anyone's calculations. There's been the speculation that it's because he participated in the home run derby. And I was one of those, and I've always been one of those guys who's looked at the home run derby and been like, you know what, this really does have an impact on, you know, some of these guys' swings, particularly guys that aren't sluggers, you know, that are just trying to hit home runs for the derby. In the case of Aaron Judge, I really don't think that's the case. I think Judge has, the thing that's happened with Judge, rather, is that, look, he's been in the league now for all of a total of 6 months. And it's not abnormal at this point in time that major league pitchers have studied his video and that pitching coaches have studied his video and have found some sort of a flaw in his swing or his approach. And they're now exploiting that. And that was my problem with anointing Aaron Judge the new face of baseball. Not because he's a Yankee, although, you know, whatever. Not because he's an extremely gifted kid and has an unbelievable swing and an unbelievable approach. But because the kid's been in the game for 6 months. You know, give him some time. And this is exactly what I was talking about. Give him some time to be in the league for longer than a full season to see how he adjusts. Because that's sort of the way this works at the start of these guys' careers. Whether it be a pitcher or a batter, they're usually at the beginning of their major league careers usually have an advantage because there's no book on them. There's no instructions on how to get somebody out or how to deal with a certain type of pitcher until they make a few starts or play a few games. It doesn't take that long for these major league coaching staffs to exploit flaws, and that's, I think, what's happening with Judge. The real question now for Aaron Judge is, will he make adjustments like his crosstown counterpart made? And I'm talking about Conforto again. Conforto had a really nice start to his career in 2015. Came up from AA, batted .270, hit a bunch of home runs, carried himself with poise into the playoffs. And all Mets fans had huge expectations for him in 2016, and he had a terrible year, which he spent a good chunk of in AAA in Vegas, trying to fine-tune his swing. And the bottom line there is that the book gets out on you. You have to make adjustments as a player once the book is out. The book comes out, you make adjustments. the good guys make adjustments, the mediocre guys don't. And that's where it comes down to, you know, and I think we're seeing with Michael Conforto exactly what Keith Hernandez predicted. This kid is going to be a special hitter, and he's showing that right now. He's having an unbelievable season. I'd argue that he'd be on pace for 100-plus RBIs if he were batting in an RBI situation this whole season, and he hasn't been. He's been the leadoff guy. So again, 26 home runs, awesome. I'm excited to see how he plays in Yankee Stadium. You know, that stadium with the short porch in right field is just a left-hand slugger's dream. And although Conforto's not the prototypical lefty slugger, he should have a field day in the Bronx. So that picks up tonight at 7:05 in Yankee Stadium. The Mets will send Rafael Montero to the mound, and Lord, I'm not looking forward to this game tonight. Montero and the Yankees, it's a recipe for disaster, especially in Yankee Stadium. I just do not think Montero matches up very well with the Yankees. Tomorrow night, though, will be fun because Jacob deGrom is scheduled to make his start, despite taking that line drive off of his wrist in Philly. deGrom is scheduled to make his start tomorrow night, so that'll be fun to see how Jake matches up against the Yankee lineup and how he controls them, if he controls them. One more thing, actually two more things. Last week I saw Dom Smith's debut. I was in Philly for his Major League debut. It was so cool. I was glad I got to go. But I must confess that I did not see his first hit. I was in the bathroom when Dom Smith got his hit. And I was really mad at myself, but I was redeemed by the fact that I got to see Amed Rosario's first home run. Ended up being what was the game-winning run. It was awesome to see. There were a ton of Mets fans in Philly. Just a fun environment, fun game, leading into that fun weekend series that I was talking about. So that was number one. Number two, to touch on deGrom again, my friend Mike and I were talking last week on Facebook about deGrom's season and how unbelievable he's been. And my friend Mike made the comment, geez, what if deGrom wasn't doing what he was doing? You know, think about how much worse the Mets would be. And he's absolutely right. Jake has 13 wins. That's a quarter of the wins that the Mets have amassed this year. So yeah, no question, Jacob deGrom is the MVP of this season, if you've got to pick one. He's keeping what would be a dreadful Phillies-like season from happening. But my counter to that is, think about where the Mets would be if the other four starters that were supposed to be in this rotation were doing what Jake is doing. 13 times 5. Yeah, that's 65. No, it's what, 65 wins? That's pretty damn good. You know, that's the difference between this shitstorm of a season that we're looking at right now and a season where we'd be talking about our third straight playoff berth. It's the pitching. It's the starting pitching leading into the shitty bullpen. So, again, it's just evidenced by looking at how poorly the other four guys perform, whether it be due to injury or just performance. Jacob deGrom held up his end of the bargain. Sadly for the Mets and its fans and our fans, no one else did. So that's going to wrap it up for today. I went a little bit longer than I'd expected to, probably because I spent too much time talking about Aaron Judge. But no matter, I do appreciate your tuning in and watching the video. You can follow me on Twitter at Mr_Met, where you can participate in the daily Mets trivia contest. Today's question, by the way, is who was the first Mets player to win 3 consecutive Silver Slugger awards? That's a good question. If you know the answer, hit me up on Twitter. Let me know. So again, thanks for watching. And as always, I leave you with, let's go Mets. And I will add on, let's beat the Yankees. Let's play spoilers. Let's take 4 straight. Pipe dream, probably, but who cares? Let's go Mets.